Excited for this day. Megan, kick us off.
All right, Sage. Welcome to 10 Ways to Magnetize Clients and Recession-Proof Your Business. This is your VIP day. And this is session 1 of 3 sessions. We are going to take a couple breaks today for you to have snacks and integrate. And we're so excited to be with you today and get you these 10 proven tools that support you in getting your clients right away, even in recession. And the next 5 hours are about getting you the hottest tips to getting those paying clients. And we're just going to go ahead and be diving right into content. So make sure you've got your notebook, you've got your handouts open. And I recommend also having a Facebook tab open with your Facebook group, because we're going to be directing you over there for some comments and shares as well. So just have that open in the background so that you can interact with us over there. We're going to focus a lot on selling and speaking. These are the 2 highest paid skills. T. Harv Eker, the author of The Millionaire Mind, says, master these 2 skills and you will never worry about money another day in your life. Woohoo! So that's what we're up to today. And I just want to review the schedule really quickly. We're going to take a break about every 75 minutes to 90 minutes, in that kind of range. So session 1, our estimate is 11 to 12:30 Pacific time. And this is all about enrollment and hot strategies for attracting those clients. And session number 2, 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. Pacific time, we're going to focus on what you're really selling and designing your programs to be client attracting. And in session 3, from estimate of 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific, it's going to be all about Facebook groups and client attracting tips. And so if you're listening to the recording later, just keep moving through all 3 recordings, because they're full of great content that really builds on each other. And Shannon and Sage are here too. We're so excited to be here with you too. Shannon is our head of coaching. She has been here the longest with Women Rocking Business. Hi, Shannon.
Hey, everyone. I'm so excited to see you again this week, all your beautiful faces.
Hey, Shannon, can we do a quick wahoo and lean toward the camera?
Yeah. Let's all lean in, give each other our eyes. We're just admitting people still going.
I got it. I'm on
it. Okay. And give each other your eyes. Really take it in and look at who's here, so that you can take it into your body right now that you're not doing this alone. There are sisters building their businesses alongside you. Give a nod that you're with us. Yeah. And then go ahead and unmute yourselves, and let's all give a wahoo and just celebrate the fact that we're here today.
Wahoo!
Yes. Excited to be here. Yay.
So excited. This is one of our favorite things to do all year long. And I do want to take a moment. To welcome our 78 new clients, brand new. Let's give sparkle for them. I want to take a moment to also welcome our returning clients who just decided to stay with us a whole nother year. That's a huge recommitment. Can we sparkle for them? And then let's sparkle for any of you that have been with us 6 months. Gosh, I'm seeing women on here who have been with us a year, 2 years. Virginia Sanchez, Ashley Moon just decided to jump in another year. Himalaya's been with us 6 months, right? Like there's women who have been traveling with us for a while, and then there's brand new women. And so you're all here to look at something differently. You're all here to look through the lens of what we're doing. Some of you are just watching how we lead a group VIP day. Some of you are here because you're like, I need 3 things to do this week to get a new client. Can we sparkle for that? So Shannon, thank you so much for letting me butt in, and let's talk about announcements.
Awesome. Well, we have some exciting announcements. Those of you that have been on the Facebook group pages, loving each other up, I just got to say, I'm seeing like 15 and 20 comments and feedback from each other on all of your posts and your videos. It's gorgeous, and it's helping us all get to see you and feel you. This is exactly what I'm talking about with the sisterhood. So you guys are doing a great job. I want to say that we have a couple video contest winners. They are going to win a bonus gold pass session for posting a really hot welcome video. Sage. I thought you wanted to add something there. But I want to also ask you, if you didn't post your video, I just got off a coaching session and she was like, I'm so resistant to making my video. Will you please just make me make it? And we set a date for it. Raise your hand if you still need to make your video. Yeah. Okay, good. There's some of you that still need to make it. And if you've been with us for 6 months, you can totally make a new video because practice is always key. So we're going to actually extend this. You're going to get another week. You're going to get another week. We're going to let you make your videos through next week on the training call. Woo woo. But today we want to honor 2 women, one from each group, that posted their videos that we thought their videos really stood out. So I want to get a drum roll, please, for our leverage goddess. Her name is Denise Strickland Ackerman. Congratulations, you won a Gold Pass session.
Oh yeah, let's just look at how bright and shiny your video was. We love your enthusiasm, your energy, so powerful. If you haven't seen Denise's video, it's a great example of clear and willing and authentic. Awesome job, Denise. Let's give her sparkle fingers.
Sparkle fingers, Denise. Awesome. And up next, drum roll please. The winner for our ELA video contest is Cherie Durrett.
Oh yeah, purple hair and all. She's being so authentic, so feminine. She even sang to us. I gave her some great feedback there. You guys can learn from watching each other's videos and reading the feedback that the coaches give your other students. There's so much to learn. Sparkle fingers for Charisse. You're amazing. Good job, you guys.
Awesome. Okay. So we have a couple other things. I really recommend you write these things down so that you don't miss them. You have a lot of new information to absorb and we want to keep you guys on track. So you have a niche and messaging call coming up. It's October 13th. It's 2 o'clock to 3:30 Pacific. So this is in your member site, in your calendar and classes tab. It was just, it's new and it's special. This is for you if you want to keep dialing in your niche and working on your messaging. This is for you if you feel like you're in niche soup. No worries, we got you. Just come to this call October 13th. And also your first training call is the first week of October. You'll have it on Tuesday if you're in Leverage and Wednesday if you're in ELA. So just make sure you've got all your call dates coming up. We're super excited to get started with you in your training calls. I also, as Sage mentioned, want to just announce that all of our Zoom lines for our group calls like this, the passcode's always going to be sisterhood. We're doing it just to make sure that we have the correct privacy in Zoom. We don't have any Zoom bombers. So just know sisterhood is always what gets you in with us. And we'll keep reminding you guys as you go. You also have a class list and a niche doc available to you in your programs. This is super awesome. So what you could do is you're going to fill out your information so that your sisters can find you in your niche and also in your location. It'll say where you're from, where you live. You're going to reach this doc by going to your library in your member site and clicking on the library and going to your master resources. It's right at the top. So new fall ladies, you get to go in there and list yourself and then check out who else is in the program so that you guys can connect and reach out to each other. Find some people that are niche mates with you and, DM them, get to know each other, right? You can never have enough buddies to practice with and people to brainstorm with.
Do you guys see where this is in your member site? I know some of you just got in there in the last couple days. So if you head over into your member site, go to the library right at the top. This is where we are keeping track of your niche. If you do not know yet, just let us know what you do know. You can even say, I'm still working on it. All right. But this is how we get to connect you guys. This is how you can put in your emails, your phone numbers. In absence of being able to meet live and in person, it's really important that you keep this document up to date so that your classmates can find you and you can officially become one of our classmates. This is our offering to you as an in-the-moment networking. Stay current with your niche and your message. Back to you, Shannon.
Awesome. I want to give you some clarification and distinction about our Facebook groups. What we're doing over there is we're really big on curating a learning community for you over there. So we want you guys sharing your ideas, giving each other feedback, and getting some support from your coaches. One thing that we would ask you to do is review the about description in your Facebook groups. This is a great review because it can show you exactly what you want to do when you're creating your Facebook groups. We would ask that you send your one-on-one questions around admin questions you have for the program, tech and logistics that you have for the program. We want you to send those directly to support@sagelevine.com because the support team, the client care team will be able to get back to you a lot quicker. Those questions are really for support. And then we're asking you to keep all of your content questions and your coaching questions over there on the Facebook group. All right. Let's see. We got one more, and that is, we have a list here of our new fall clients, but we've already gotten to know each other last week. So I am going to turn it back over to you. Oh, I have one more announcement. I forgot. Very special announcement. And actually, Sage, if you could just let us know about her. We have somebody we want to introduce you to. You've probably met her before. Take it away, Sage.
Oh, I'm going to introduce her to you in just a moment. We have a special guest on the call. Are you guys excited to meet her? Awesome. I have two things I want to show you first. The first thing is I want to orient you to your member site for just a moment. So let's all take a deep breath. Let yourself land here. A couple things I just want to show you real quick. When you guys get in here, the bulk of what you want to know in this member site is, first of all, if you haven't gone through your welcome page and just listened to your orientation video and completed your commitment checklist, you're going to want to do that. Okay. This is also where you sign up for a coach. Okay. Right here on your welcome site, if you haven't done that already. The other thing that is really important in this site, you guys, is to head over into your classes area and to know that right now we are in your orientation. Your VIP day is part of your orientation. Okay, are you guys picking up what I'm laying down? So in the classes area, this orientation tile is going to help you access the VIP day handouts. Do you guys see how it says September 29th, the VIP day right here? That's today. We are on that day. Here we are together. And your handouts, there are 6 of them, are here. We want to make sure you have those because we're going to be bouncing around inside of these 6 handouts today, and having those handouts pulled up is going to really help you stay organized today so that you don't feel like you're missing information, because we're going to move pretty fast and we're going to give you a lot of information, and we want you to know that a lot of the information we're giving you is alive and documented in these handouts so that you can really rest into the structures that we have for you. The last thing I want to share with you about this classes area, and this is something that our returning students are going to have access to as well, is that for the first time, we've actually gifted you this mini course on basically how to launch your business using Facebook challenges. I spent about 2.5 days a few weeks ago organizing all of our best content about how to do video on social media. How do you actually get the message out on social media? At what point do you want to start a group, and how do you fill a group? And all that information is in here. Now, for some of you who are in the Launch Your Movement training, you're going to see that some of this is familiar to you. But there's also some new stuff, like, did you guys know that we gave you guys a bonus training recently on how to not get kicked out of Facebook? Did you know that Facebook can kick you out? I bet you might not have, and some of you maybe did know because you've been kicked out. So the great thing about Facebook is that we have free marketing on there, but the bad thing is that they can kick you out. I just added a video last week on how to avoid Facebook shutdowns. You guys can head over into your member site, and I'll show you how to get to that one more time. Your Facebook challenges mini course is right there. It's a nice big tile so that you can't miss it. And if there was anything you were to think about diving into to kind of get yourself educated around the basics of using social media to find your clients, we wanted you to go to that course first before you try to dive into your library. Does it make sense? The library is more for reference. Say that with me, reference. What's it for? Reference. It's not your to-do list. So raise your hand if you're willing to not go into the library and think that that's a to-do list. Okay, super important. Okay, Ashley Moon will tell you, importante to stay out of overwhelm. But we wanted to give you the 4 or 5, what we thought were like the hottest training calls to get you going. That Launch Mini course is it. All right, so I was just on a hike this morning. I got up early and it's foggy here in Santa Cruz, and I have this favorite spot I like to go to when it's foggy because the fog kind of nestles down into the hillsides. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? And you can get this feeling of like really being immersed in nature. Raise your hand if you've been finding, based on everything that's going on the planet right now, that nature's been feeling like medicine. Anybody else having that experience? Anybody else know you need to get out in nature in the next week or so? Like, it's just so perfect to counter the time that we're spending on the computer building our business. So there I was walking along. I pulled up Brene Brown. She has a recent podcast that she did on surge capacity. And I just want to say a piece about this. And by the way, you guys, I linked you directly to her podcast in your ELA and Leverage Facebook groups. And I even put hashtag Brene Brown, so it's searchable, so you guys can find it really easily. But the thing that really struck me about this podcast is, and this was like, have you ever queued something up and it's like exactly the thing you've needed to hear? Has that ever happened? I was like out there walking and I was just like, oh, thank you, Brene Brown. You know, just like I was looking for some wisdom this morning. And she talked about how many of us are hitting a 6-month wall. We've been in a pandemic for 6 months. Can you feel this? And she talked about how it's critical. Hear what I'm saying right now. It's critical that you and I both admit that we're in a pandemic and we've been in one for 6 months. Like, it's so important that we don't gloss over that, because all the things that we used to do to kind of maintenance ourselves, like go to yoga or go out for dinner or, you know, do certain things in groups, like a lot of that stuff is it's out and it's still out. And what she's talking about is she's talking about this thing called surge capacity. And what she's referencing is the fact that we have a surge mechanism in our physiology that's based on adrenaline. Take a breath into that. Raise your hand if you know you sometimes motivate yourself on adrenaline. So here's the thing. When we motivate ourselves on adrenaline, we push ourselves into doing things, right? We get really excited about something, and then we make it wrong when the excitement stops. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? So raise your hand if you've ever felt really excited to grow your business, and then the excitement goes away and you're like, well, maybe there's something wrong because I've lost that excitement, that passion. Maybe I should be doing something different. Okay, I'm here to tell you that excitement to grow your business, that's going to go up and it's going to go down, just like with anything else in life. And so what I've found is that the women who are really successful in our programs, they don't stop and they don't pull back when the excitement goes down. Are you guys with me? So what we have to understand about this surge capacity is Brene was recommending that we all admit to ourselves when we feel like we're at capacity. When we feel empty or like there's nothing left, or we feel tired, or where's my drive? Where's my motivation gone? Right? Raise your hand if you've faced any of that in the last few weeks, maybe a couple months. So here's one of the things I got really excited about. One of the things that she recommended that we do. She recommended that we take on a project, whether it's a business project or a passion project, because she said, what happens when we take on a project and when we get our fingers deep into planning is that planning brings us into the here and now. It brings us into the present moment. And it's the ultimate use of our life force energy, especially while old systems are breaking down. And so we're going to recommend today, as we go through this content, take a breath into that, right? That we get to work on our business as a planning project, as a passion project. We get to show up for it even when the passion wanes. We get to still show up for it, knowing that what happens for many of my clients and for me over the last 10 years I've been studying this is that if you're willing to keep showing up, you'll wake up a month from now, 2 months from now, and you're like so thankful for the part of you that showed up even when you didn't feel like it. And to know that that willingness to give yourself to your business is actually part of the coping mechanism to help get through this uncertain time in history. Can you feel it? Hitching yourself to your business is actually a very worthy cause to bring you into the present moment and to channel your life force energy. So go listen to that podcast if you're interested. One of the things that made me think of that podcast was the question that came up last week on one of our calls. How do I get the word out about my podcast? How do I monetize my podcast? And I let one of our clients know the very most effective way I've seen people monetize their podcast is to link their podcast to an online group, which is exactly what we're going to be teaching you to do today, to be talking about, helping you start an online group full of potential clients and customers. And the woman I'm about ready to introduce you to is going to be coaching some of you this year. We're very lucky to get her. She's got her own business. She's a very high level, incredible leader and salesperson, and she's got some chops in digital marketing. She actually launched a podcast, last year with you, Megan, and her name is Erica. And some of you know her from our team. She's amazing. And she's recently been convinced by the amazing Shannon Fisher, and I'm sure Megan had something to do with it. We have convinced her to come in as a coach. Can we give her a big wahoo, and let's get her on the count of 3, unmute yourselves and just give her a wahoo. Ow, ow, ow! All right. Those of you that are going to get a chance to coach with Erica, I'm going to excuse my trucker's mouth, but she's badass. She's not going to let you back down. She's fiery and smart and amazing. And she totally knows how to help you get clients because she's enrolled clients of her own. Erica, let's get you on to just say a quick.
Here I am.
There she is.
Woo-hoo! Oh my gosh, Sage, you are so masterful at what you do. And I love Brene Brown, and I'm feeling so excited, and I'm experiencing that firsthand in my life right now. When you really cling to your business and you dive in, especially in these uncertain times, it feels so good to be on purpose. And I feel now more than ever that the world needs us women to be on purpose and holding the vision of what's possible. So I feel so incredibly honored to be here. You didn't have to woo me too hard. And I can't wait to support you women for this next year. It's going to be amazing.
You're amazing, Erica. We're so blessed that it's you. Just so you guys know, behind the scenes, we actually had so many women join our team and join our programs this year that we needed to bring in a new coach. Raise your hand if you'd like to have that problem someday, that you actually have so many clients. You've got to recruit the perfect person. Erica was our very first choice. Kiss for Erica. Mwah. And as you guys know, all of our coaches are amazing. And what I've come to understand is that no matter who you end up getting partnered with to coach, trust me when I say 99% of the time we found it's your perfect person. And sometimes women get partnered with somebody and they're like, wait, I met that one person and I kind of wanted her. But then 6 months later, they're like, the universe knew exactly who I was supposed to be coaching with. So trust your coaching assignment. We can't wait for you to get to experience those hour-long onboarding sessions. They're magical. They're amazing. We're going to get you going. We're going to dive into the first handout here, you guys. And the first handout looks like this. It's called 10 Recession-Proof Strategies to Enroll New Clients. And note that this is about getting you strategies to be implemented but not necessarily in this order. Okay. So this is a handout you guys can follow along with today. We're going to be bouncing back and forth from this handout to a couple of other handouts. Note that this handout is called the 10 ways. This is kind of like the master handout for today. Okay. So here's how this works. We're going to go through the 10 strategies throughout the day. And right now, we're going to start with strategy number 1. And strategy number 1, you've probably heard me say, is to master enrollment and to remember that enrollment is the freaking, write this down, it's the mother skill. And for those of you that have a printer at home, you can print out this handout so you can take notes all over it. And for those of you that want to just be digital, you can take notes on a piece of paper. But Megan and I are going to be reminding you in a moment that really, if there was one thing that you did in the next week, aside from starting to get clear on who your clients are, if there was one thing you did, it would be to start practicing and thinking about the grow conversation in your everyday life. The thing I love about grow is this is a conversation that's going to help you get closer to your potential clients. But here's the other thing I love about grow. And you can write this down. You're going to use grow, and you can use grow everywhere in your business and everywhere in your life. I used grow with my boyfriend this morning because he was trying to cancel our date night. And I brought him right back to his big indulgent why he wanted a relationship. And instead of canceling the date night, we just decided to reschedule it. And that was all thanks to me understanding the grow conversation. It's not about me convincing him of anything. It's about me asking him, how do you think we'd be able to get a deeper connection this week if we don't have date night tonight, right? So I'm here to remind you, you can also use grow with your kids, because your kids love to talk about the things that they want or the things that they are struggling and challenged with. Now, one of the things that we don't always get a chance to review is what it means to pre-qualify your potential clients. So stay with me here, because in a moment, I'm actually going to pull up another handout. But for now, what I want to remind you of before we review the grow process, I want to remind you that you can actually ask certain questions of your potential clients before you even get on the phone with them. Raise your hand if you can see that that would be worthwhile use of your time, right? We call this pre-qualification because what we want is we want to put a stake in the ground that you're actually talking to people who are a little bit pre-qualified. Like they know they're about ready to go get on a phone call or a Zoom call or a FaceTime. They know they're about ready to get on a call with you because they're interested in getting further support, right? So that you're not just being used for your quote unquote free sessions. So one of the things that we've provided is, by the way, I've done like many hours of research over how to best pre-qualify people. And one of the things that we've done is we've put our favorite ways to pre-qualify people into one handout for you. Now, keep in mind, you don't have to use everything on this handout. We kind of gave you a whole list of things you can use, and your job is going to be to choose a few of these for yourself. Okay, for most of you, you're going to be booking online, right? Especially now. And you're going to plug questions. You're going to want to either plug questions into your scheduling system. Like if you set up a scheduling link through youbookme.com, you can program questions into your booking link so that people actually have to answer some questions in order to book a session with you. Does that make sense, you guys? The other thing that you can do is you can also email people a short assessment ahead of time and ask them to email it back to you, and just make the instructions very clear. So right at the top, they would see that they're going to fill this out within 3 days or, within 24 hours before their session, and email it back to whatever your best email address is. Okay. There's a few things on this handout I'd like to point out, and then I'm going to let you go through this because this is a resource for you, right? Obviously, we're asking about things like visions and dreams and challenges. Basically, we're asking things that have to do with grow. But this is the most important part of this handout, and this is going to be a game changer for a lot of you guys. We recommend that you ask at least 2 questions about how committed people are to changing their life or their business or their relationship or their health. Okay, are you guys with me on this? This is a game changer. Because if people are not committed at a 7 or above, you may want to consider, this is going to be kind of bold for some of you, but you may want to consider not getting on the phone with them. This is your way of letting people know, hey, I'm a professional. I help people transform their relationship with themselves, their spirituality, their health, their relationships, their career. And I'm looking for people that are committed at a 7 or above, right? And so by asking people a scale of 1 to 10, how committed are you to improving your health, right? How committed are you to being coached to improve your health? How committed are you to investing energy and time, right, into improving your health, your relationships, right? And so I want to be honest that when you do this, you will save yourself a lot of time and you'll save yourself the inconvenience and the, sort of energy drain of talking to people that aren't ready to be on the phone with you. And some of you are like, oh my gosh, I can't cancel a session. And I'm here to tell you, yes, you can. You are the queen of your business and you are the queen of your time. And so when we cancel sessions, here's what we do. We let people know, we were delighted to get your survey. Thank you for filling it out. Unfortunately, you're not committed at a 7 or above. My primary intent is to work with people that are committed at a 7 or above. No problem that you're not there, but what I'm going to recommend in the interim is that you go read such and such book, right? Before I had a book, I told people to go grab Janet Atwood's book called The Passion Test, right? I didn't have a book out. Go read a book, figure out what you're passionate about, and come back to me, right? And I let people know if you are able to increase that commitment level, let us know. And I'll let you know about 10% of the time, maybe 15% of the time, maybe a little more, people come back and go, well, I actually am committed now that you mention it. Can I have the session? And guess what happens? When we do the session, they are way more hungry for what I have to offer. And for the people that aren't committed, sometimes they're a little huffy, but they go off, they read the book, and sometimes they come back to us. Okay, but it's not our job to keep everybody happy. It's our job to maintain our time and resources so that we're talking basically to you guys, because my first priority is you guys, right? I don't want my team spending a lot of time with strangers who may not even be interested, right? We as a company give a lot of our time to our clients, and I know you want to give a lot of time to your clients and your most interested people as well. So is that helpful? Can you guys use that? Something you can use right away? Let's talk a little bit about grow. So we are going to quickly review the grow process. And don't forget that there's some little checkpoints, you guys, throughout the 10 ways handout. There's a little there's a little checkpoint here. What's the key to pre-qualifying potential clients? It starts with a C. What's the word, please? Somebody drop it in the chat. It starts with a C. The key to pre-qualifying potential clients. It starts with a C. You're assessing what? What are you assessing? What are you assessing in them? You guys got it. Maria, Michelle, Wendy. It's about assessing their commitment level. That's the key to pre-qualifying. All right, Megan, let's talk a little bit about just a quick review of what is this grow model anyway.
All right. So just like Sage has been talking about, we want to really pre-qualify people and understand if they're committed, then get them into a grow conversation. This is different than getting them into an hour-long free coaching session. How many of you feel like that's what you might have been doing? You're just giving away a ton of free coaching. I want to see your hands. Yeah, it doesn't end up feeling very good. So that's why we recommend going through a grow conversation, because this is where we live in an era of information overload, and what's really valuable to people is giving your time and your attention. It's personalized, it's customized, and remember that you can start the conversation with the G or the R, which means you can start with the goals or you can start with the reality that they're in. So it doesn't really matter which side you start with, but just that you start with one of those things and include them both. So when you start with a G, the goals, it means you're asking them, what do you want? What's your goal? What's your vision? And Sage is just popping up the handout here so you get to see this whole outline. And I recommend that you print this one off and have it with you, or have it up on your screen in the background if you're doing a Zoom session with someone, so that you can actually see these questions and ask these questions. So you want to know, what's your goal? What's your vision? And you want to find out, what is their big why? What's their indulgent why? Why is it important to them to make these changes in their life, in their relationship, if you're a relationship coach, in their health, if you're a health coach, in their business, if you're a business coach? You get the idea. You want to get down to the heart of why it matters to them and what's actually going to change, and ask them about that. Like, you might say, well, how does it feel when you imagine having that quality of connection that you are really longing for in relationship? How would you feel when you have that kind of connection? So you get them into this feeling state of how it feels to have what they say they want. And then you also want to hear, what's the reality? So what's stopping you right now from having that experience? And then we ask them, tell me more. Tell me more about that. I know that when I learned this, I felt like, oh, wow, this is such a beautiful skill to have in life, just like Sage was sharing, getting to use this with her boyfriend, because everyone wants to hear, well, tell me more about that. Tell me more about how you're feeling. And it really encourages them to open up. So you get to be that person that's holding a beautiful space for them and asking them some questions about what kind of cost, what impact is it having on their life to keep these things going. Again, in whatever niche area you're in. So you really want to establish this gap between what the reality is right now and what their goal is, what their end vision is of what they're going to create. And Sage, do you want to talk a little bit about some of these options? Oh, and I just unmute.
Yep, I do. And in the meantime, I actually want to invite you to go over to the Facebook group, because we're going to be going over to your Facebook group several times today. We're going to be bouncing back and forth between the Facebook group and this VIP day. Part of the reason why we're doing this, you guys, is that we recommend you guys do this on any of your group calls. You can also do this during your Facebook challenges, during a video challenge where you tell people to go into a group and invite them to post somewhere specific. You can even do this on a podcast. This is one of the key ways that people monetize podcasts, because one of the things about podcasts is oftentimes you're kind of speaking into this vortex and there's no way to catch people on the other side. Well, this is the way you catch people. So I'm going to invite you to head over into the Facebook group, and I just popped up this post. What's your juiciest indulgent why? Why do you want your business? You can give thumbs up to at least 3 of your sisters' posts. So go find that red post. Shannon, I just went ahead and did it. I'm going to recommend that you guys take a moment and feel into that energy of, oh, Shannon did it too. Great. So we'll just use Shannon. So go ahead and use this blue one. What's your juiciest indulgent why? Why do you want your business? And go ahead and let us know, what is your big why? And I want to invite you to get in touch with your big why for a moment so that you can feel what it feels like when you're connected to it. Because if you don't remember anything from this first morning session, what I'm about to say is one of the most important pieces. And that is that enrollment is energetic. Okay? It's energetic. And when you know what it feels like to be connected to why you want this thing, that you're you're building. Why do you want this thing that had you show up? There's almost 100 of you on the line, right? In the middle of the week, right? End of September, you're here, you're diving into learning all this stuff. You're rolling up your sleeves. There's a million other things you could be doing. When you're connected to that why, whether it's, I want my freedom, I want to be able to send my kid to whatever freaking live or online university I want. Whether it's, I'm tired of not being able to take care of myself, I want to be able to get 3 bodywork sessions a week if I want to. Right? Like, what is the thing that makes you go, yeah, I want this. I want to help people, right? I want to make a difference for people, but what's your selfish why? What's your indulgent why? What's in it for you? Because there's going to be days where just showing up to help other people is not going to be exciting enough. I'm just saying this with total love, for you to go and figure out Facebook, figure out technology, figure out your website, figure out what an autoresponder is. Right? We need your nervous system and any little parts of you, a little girl part of you, a little resistant teenager part of you. We need all of those parts of you to know that you're going to get yours too, right? As this business grows, you're going to get a chance to have what you want as well. So Alice says, I do have a business, and years from now, I don't want to be invisible. I want to contribute to a wealthy planet, healthy environment for our children. Beautiful, beautiful, Alice. And the selfish piece, Alice says, is to also create an awesome environment to be in with her family. Alice, that's something I'm going to invite you to keep forefront as you're walking through the business building this year. Can you feel it? When you can picture yourself and your family in this awesome environment, we had as you guys know, we had a really successful event 2 weeks ago. It was incredibly successful. We had a huge outpouring of love and people saying yes to studying with us. And one of the things I did after that event was over was that weekend I went and I bought myself new furniture for my patio. Do you know what I mean? And then I laid down on my new couch with all these beautiful little patio pillows around me. And I took a big, long exhale under my redwood tree. And I gave back to myself in the way that I had given to my event. So I want to really invite you to imprint on that give and take that is necessary in your business. Cynthia says, my big why is absolute financial autonomy. And I love that Deanne commented on her. You guys can comment on each other's, just give each other some love, because Deanne was like, I hear you, sister. Raise your hand if a level of financial autonomy is really part of what pulls you forward in this. And so this is what we're going for. Can you guys feel it? Raise your hand if you feel energy rising in you, and even a feeling of like ferocity. Can you guys feel that when you get in touch with that indulgent why? It's almost like I'm going to go get my results. I'm going to go get it. I deserve it. That's what you're looking for when you're talking to your clients about their indulgent why, because you're going to have clients that don't want to make the changes that you're suggesting they make in their health, right? You're going to have clients that might feel uncomfortable saying the things to their partner or their husband or their wife about, what you're going to suggest that they go have these hard conversations. Some of them aren't going to want to do it. Raise your hand if you know you're a change maker. You're going to be waking people up in these sessions. And here's a quick little hint. Guess what? One of the major reasons they're paying you, and one of the major reasons they will hire you, is your commitment to wake them up. Do not be one of those women that sits in these sessions and tries to play by the rules. If you have something fly through your head that that person probably needs to hear, find a way to deliver it with love. That's why people hire us, because we're committed to making them great. We don't want to just be another complacent person in their life. Are you guys picking up what I'm laying down? This is what sales is about. All right, so let's talk about options. Like Megan said, once you have established that gap, right, between their big why and what's really in the way, your job is to lay out a little plan for them. If we were going to work together, here's what it would look like. right? If based on what you've shared, I'm going to recommend that you, like for me, when I'm talking to a potential client, it's like based on what you've shared, based on the fact that you want to have a 6-figure practice, I would recommend that you definitely get online. I would recommend that you start a social media group and that you start nurturing and tending to a group of people online, and you give them ways to get to know and communicate with each other. I would recommend that you start getting more comfortable on video. You can even make videos and you can, do a little slideshow, and you can hide behind the slides if you want to. You don't have to be face to camera, but I am going to recommend that you get out there and do some trainings, make some videos, get some content online that's connected to your services so people can get a taste of learning from you. Right. And so I'm not trying to sell my potential client anything yet. I'm just recommending a mini plan. Here's what I'd be recommending to you if you were my client. Right. And if you were to do that, I could absolutely see you getting to the point where you have a few hundred people in a social media group and you have 5 or 10 high paying clients within the next few months. If that's something that you want, if you go all in on that, right? I could see you getting to the point where you're making 5,000 a month, 10,000 a month, right? How does that sound? Right. And then I always like to ask a question, is this thing that you say you want, this dream business, this ideal health, whatever it is, is it worth what is it important to you enough that you're willing to walk through your fears? Is it important enough to you that you're willing to be uncomfortable? And then I can ask that $1 million question that we talked about at our last event. And how are you hoping I personally might be able to support you further? Right? Because when you ask that question, they're going to likely tell you all of the ways that they do want support. And if that's something you can help them with, then you get to dive in and talk about what you offer, talk about your program, and let them know that you would recommend they jump into your program, right? So breathe into that. Breathe into that confidence that it takes to look someone in the eye on camera, on a Zoom call, a video call, and say, I'm going to recommend that you jump in to my Ninja Health Immersion program, right? Whatever the name of your program is. And raise your hand if you know practicing that might support you a few times, right? So for many of you, we're going to be helping you practice today. But trust me when I say it's as simple as that. And every week, we honestly, truly, every week, we have clients in our year-long programs come back to us and they're like, oh my God, it worked. They literally are like, I can't believe it worked. Somebody just signed up for my $5,000 program. Somebody just signed up for my $10,000 program. So for those of you that don't have your first client yet, trust me when I say it will happen if you keep going. For those of you in leverage who are looking to scale and step out of time for dollar, and you're like, yeah, Sage, I have a bunch of private clients. Tell me something I don't know. I'm here to tell you everything we teach today can be applied to scaling. And the way to apply the grow model to scaling is to start to really fine tune your videos and look to see, are the videos and is the content and the training that you're putting out, your webinars, even your podcast episodes, your Facebook Live videos, is that content helping to establish the gap between why people want the change they want the most and the thing that's in the way? And raise your hand if you can see that there's an art to that. That's not something that you're just automatically going to be masterful at by tomorrow, right? So especially for those of you in leverage, this is going to be an ongoing opportunity for you to really learn that art of selling while you're teaching and enrolling while you're teaching. And you'll hear me doing it all the time. You'll hear Megan and Shannon and our coaches doing it as well. But remember, you guys, my friend Brendan Bouchard says, it's not about painting a masterpiece every single day. Take a breath into this. It's just about getting a little bit of paint on the canvas every single day. So Shannon, do you want to talk a little bit about potential client interviews and why those are important?
Absolutely. Potential client interviews. And for those of you that want to look at the template on those, you'll have that in your Niche Clarity Workbook, page 19. This is something that we want to do because we want to find out what our potential clients are thinking, and people love to be interviewed. So this doesn't have to take a lot of time. This isn't an enrollment conversation like we were just talking about where you're going to offer your program. This is just finding out what your potential clients really want. It's going to help us with marketing message, and it includes some elements from the Grow conversation. So it'll feel very similar. So what you're going to want is you're going to reach out into your communities. You can post on your Facebook page, previous clients. You guys can ask each other if you're niche mates or you have an same issue you want to interview somebody about. You want to contact and arrange to do 4 to 6 potential client interviews just to get niche clarity or to get your niche that you already have even more dialed in for your messaging. This is going to help you really understand your clients' longings and dreams in their language. So it's super important. Oh, Sage, we have the handout here. Thank you. It's super important that we get it in their language because oftentimes we feel like we're going to skip this step and we're going to put it in our words. The problem with that is that we're over in our world thinking about the benefits that we want them to have, not necessarily thinking about the benefits that they're looking for. So we want to get it in their language. What are the benefits and results that they're looking for? What are they longing for? So that we can really weave that into our marketing. Okay. Let's see. Thanks, Sage.
I love it. Sorry about that. Okay,
Okay.
great. So let's talk a little bit about these discovery sessions that many of you are having questions about. How do I book discovery sessions? How do I get discovery sessions? Remember, every time you make a video, every time you do a social media post, technically you can offer a discovery session. But here's my philosophy on this. Write this down. We here at Women Rocking Business have this philosophy called the 3-to-1 rule. That rule basically says that for every one ask you have, we recommend you give 3 times. That you give 3 times more than you ask. Does that make sense? And so when you're hanging out in our Facebook groups, we always ask you to post and ask questions, but to be willing to give to 3 sisters for every one that gives to you. And it just takes a minute to respond to somebody. And what that does is it creates this amazing economy of generosity. Raise your hand if you felt the generosity in the Facebook groups and you want to keep contributing to it. And raise your hand if you know you're wanting to build a community like that online for yourself, right? So your opportunity here is to always give 3 times more than what you're asking. So if you're going to offer a discovery session, you're going to ask yourself, what do I need to give to people in order to have them ready to take me up on a free offering like that, right? I'll say it another way. Here's another way to say it. You've got to earn the right to sell to people. Earn the right. I'll say that one more time for those of you that are taking notes. Earn the right to sell to people. So what that means is give them a tangible action step. Give them something they could use right away. And what happens is when you basically give to somebody in a way that can ensure their future success, what you're doing is you're building trust with them. You're future pacing them. We call it future pacing when you're literally setting them up for success. Because when people have success and you've been a part of that, guess what they're going to be interested in possibly getting more of from you. So this is it's the cleanest, classiest, in my opinion, most beautiful service-oriented way to sell. And there's a lot of fear-based selling tactics out there. And what we found is that the women who join our programs do really well when they can go out there and sell by lifting people up, shining a light on people's problems, but focusing on where they have the opportunity to go and their potential, and to really set people up for their own transformation and success, and then to make offerings for your programs that will help to get people there. And so, dun, 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 let's make sure that we're staying caught up with the handout, shall we? Shannon, I can't remember if we actually listed out ways to interview potential clients, but number 1, you can interview clients on Facebook by setting up a survey. Number 2, you can set up short conversations. Number 3, you can reach out to women in this program and ask them, who do they know that you could interview, right? We had a client do that really well last year. She posted a post on one of those big sticker blocks in her ELA group that said, who here knows a single mom that might be up for an interview with me? And she got 5 interviews that way with single moms, just by asking the community who they knew that was a single mom. And then guess what? One of those single moms ended up hiring her. So by the way, this stuff works. It's pretty cool. So like I said, you're going to want to always earn the right to sell to people, earn the right to offer people that free session. Let them know what you know, let them know what they can do to create some results in the area they want to create. And then you get to offer your discovery session. Let's take a look at what some of our clients have done with their websites to make it really clear that people can sign up for a discovery session. I think this is a great example. This was one of our clients from last year. Are you ready for pain freedom? Click here to schedule your free session now. Super clear, isn't it? She did really well with this opt-in page. And then when people clicked, they could schedule a strategy session right there through her scheduler so that there wasn't any back and forth. She didn't lose people. Some of you guys saw this example on our recent event. This is our client, Kate Duffy. Sign up for your free 30-minute family breakthrough session. Very clear, book now. She's even updating this so that the text stands out more, because can you guys see how the text kind of goes away? One of the reasons why I actually wanted to show you this example was because we can learn from people's awesome opt-in pages, and we can also learn from what can make these opt-in pages even stronger. I would recommend that any text you put on a photo like this stands out even more. And one of the reasons why we wanted to show you this example is because she did this I believe she did this in Kajabi, but she definitely did this in a template website. So it can be really simple. Megan, do you just want to say a couple more words about that? Sorry, I just got something in my throat.
Oh, yeah. So when you have a really simple template like that, it's going to allow you to have people pay attention. You don't have to have a whole lot of fancy graphics and text and all these things. Just keeping it simple is actually what people are going to pay the most attention to. So that's what we really want to let you know, is these are things that you can put up and get started today after this session. You don't have to have a whole lot going into that.
Awesome. And for those of you that don't have a website yet and you're just getting started, there's a couple of solutions we have for you and suggestions to get you going. And some of them are listed out here. One of the systems that we've vetted and we really like is called Kajabi. Kajabi is going to run you a little over $100 a month, but you guys can do everything with Kajabi. You can organize your email database. You can set up websites. Like all your websites can be set up through Kajabi. A lot of people spend thousands of dollars just to get one website up. And you can put up multiple websites in Kajabi for just a small fee per month. I think it's a little over $100. And the other thing that we like about Kajabi is, well, first of all, it's simple. They have great customer service. And by the way, we have a Women Rocking Business faculty member named Michael, and he does Kajabi support calls that are free for you guys every month for those of you guys that do sign up for Kajabi through us. And so we just want to give you that resource so you have somebody here at Women Rocking Business that can help you get all of that stuff up. But we're going to, in a moment, invite you to choose a title for your free breakthrough sessions or your free discovery sessions. So be thinking about what that is. And some of our favorite systems and platforms to launch websites, shopping carts, online courses. I'll start with Kajabi. It's still my favorite. Now that we have a mailing list of over 100,000 people, we use a system called Entreport because we can do some very personalized things in Entreport that we weren't able to do in Kajabi. But I still actually like Kajabi's member site better than Entreport. Entreport doesn't have a member site. So do you guys know how once you go into your member site, you've got a breakdown of all of the handouts and everything that you get from us, right? You can set up a member site through Kajabi. It's why we like Kajabi. It does everything in one system, so you don't have to try to get all these systems talking to each other. But we also like MailChimp for those of you guys that just need like something simple to get going, to collect email addresses. And there's a term that you're going to hear in digital marketing that you're going to want to know what it means, and it's CRM. And what CRM stands for is a customer relationship management system. So we're going to be talking a lot more about the technology that you need and the different aspects of starting to set up your digital business in the implementation day next month. But for now, what you should know is that a CRM is a software that essentially organizes email addresses so that you can have people claim a free session with you. You can have people claim an ebook from you, and they'll trade in their email address for whatever it is that you're offering. Then you collect that little email on your website. Many of you have that, some of you don't. And then you're going to want to have somewhere that all gets organized. And there are systems that just do that part. And then there's systems that organize your emails and help you put up websites and help you create a member site for your clients, like all in one system, much like Kajabi, okay? So that's kind of the quick and dirty on getting yourself set up so that you can automate the process of people signing up for discovery sessions. Now, the other thing that we want to let you know is until you have a website set up, you can literally make it as simple as this. By setting up a time trade account or a You Book Me account, you can literally make it as simple as dropping a link in a comment on Facebook and having people go straight to your scheduler. So take a breath into that for those of you that are like, whoa, this is a lot of technology overload for me, right? For now, just to get started up and running, you guys can consider skipping the part where you have to get a whole extra website up, and you guys can literally just go straight to signing up for an online scheduler. Raise your hand if you don't have an online scheduler yet. So here's what I want to say to those of you. It's almost half of you. Trust me when I say that having an online scheduler is kind of like the difference between you having a hobby business and having a real business. Are you guys picking up what I'm laying down? It's the number one thing we're going to recommend you do in terms of taking a step toward getting your technology set up this week. I invite you to write a big number one, circle it, set up scheduling system, whether it's You Book Me or Time Trade. You guys can do that for as little as $30 per year. Okay, everybody can afford $30 per year. So there's no excuse not to do this. And trust me when I say it will eat up your time to be going back and forth with people about how to get in your schedule. It's also not very professional it's not very professional on social media, on Instagram or Facebook, to be like, oh, email me if you want a free session with me, right? Can you guys feel how that's not very professional? What's way more professional is click a link to grab a spot with me, right? And then you can give it the fancy title. Jade, did you have a quick question?
Yes. My question was about the opt-in. So on my website right now, there's like a free gift opt-in and the email list to get on, and then you get on my email list. And so I'm thinking about the opt-in for a discovery session. There are options through my website to get into I call it a free intro session right now. So I guess the question is is it better to have the breakthrough session like pop up before the free gift, or?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So for those of you, especially in leverage, or those of you that maybe already have a free gift, the strategy to get people to book a session with you is different than a strategy to get people to download your checklist or whatever your gift is. And the discovery session strategy is oftentimes faster, because the faster you can get them into your schedule, the more connection you create. And write this down: connection equals currency. So what we recommend is that you have both websites. You have a website where people can grab a session with you, and you have a website where people can grab the checklist with you, and you're going to use them at different times. And for those of you that don't have anything yet, I'm going to invite you to start with that free session. Because again, you guys, connection is currency. The more intimacy you create with your potential clients, the sooner you get on the phone with them, the more likely they are to hire you. Now, in leverage this year, we're going to be learning strategies for you to go from a checklist to a discovery session. Because Jade, you can always follow up with people in an email and offer them a discovery session after they've downloaded your gift. Okay, so we're going to keep moving for the sake of time. Kiss for Jade. Mwah. But we'll get you more information on how to get the interface going between those two. And I am going to invite you right here, right now, as we wrap up this session number 1, to claim what's the name of your face test passing discovery session. What is the name? What is your hot title? Because having a hot title, trust me when I say, will give you so much. I think about a lot of our 6-figure clients, and they started this way. You know, they really started this way, and they still have this. Like Sophia Tom has a multi-6-figure business at this point, and Sophia still has a way that people can still claim a free temple body breakthrough session. And it's still her number 1 way of bringing in high-level clients. Does that make sense? So no matter how big or small your business is, this is really the key strategy, you guys, to being able to build that intimacy with people. And there's a few things about titling these sessions that we're going to recommend you think about. Number 1, we're going to recommend you keep them short. The strongest titles we found are like 3 or 4 words, right? Business breakthrough session, temple body breakthrough session, right? When they're super long, here's what happens. It can be hard to talk about them quickly on a video, right? Like if you have a session called Claim Your Soul Purpose Breakthrough Session, it's a great title, but it's really long. So just take a breath for a moment and listen to how this sounds. So for those of you that are really adamant about stepping into a more passionate career over the next few months, I'm going to recommend you take me up on a Claim Your Soul Purpose Breakthrough session, right? In that Claim Your Soul Purpose Breakthrough session, we're going to get a chance to sit down and discover what might be holding you back from your true purpose. Can you guys feel how long and clunky that sounds? Versus if you just called it a purpose breakthrough session, then it would sound something like this. For those of you that are ready to really infuse your career with a lot more passion, I am going to recommend you jump into my calendar and claim what I call a purpose breakthrough session. During the purpose breakthrough session, we're going to sit down and really assess what's holding you back from living your highest purpose. And so you guys can see how if it's 2 or 3 words, it rolls off your tongue. You can say it again and again and again. And who here has ever felt like when you go to sell something, or you go to offer your discovery sessions, or you go to make an offer, who here has ever felt like you're selling air? Who here has ever felt that way? So this is one of the ways around that, right? You put a tight, simple little package on your session, and you can really position it as something very professional. Kirsten says, a greatness breakthrough session. I love it. Cynthia Marshall says a profit acceleration session. I love it. And Cynthia, you actually said profit acceleration strategy session. Cynthia, I might even shorten it to just profit acceleration session. And Shannon or Megan, if you guys see any other ones that you would like to give feedback on, let's do that. Leora says a mama breakthrough session. Very clear, Leora. So you guys can also post a second idea. If your first idea is starting to feel maybe a little bit wordy, you guys can go back in there and edit that or update that. And who here wants feedback on? Yeah.
I want to pop in. I'm seeing a couple on here. Devashi, you have open your heart spiritual guidance call. Super clear on what that is. And I'd love to see you just call it like an open heart guidance call. You can drop the your and the spiritual. Because an open heart, denote, it kind of signifies we're going into the spiritual realm. It makes it super clear and easy. Stephanie, you have from the inside out breakthrough session. You could just call it, well, I was going to say inside out, but I see what you're doing. From the inside out breakthrough session.
I can even attest to this, you guys. We have had clients that just call it a breakthrough session. That's all they call it. It's just a breakthrough session. We've had clients literally build to 6 figures and up just calling it a freaking simple breakthrough session. So one of the reasons why we want to help you guys get a handle on this today is because for those of you that tend to be long and metaphorical and flowery like me, that we encourage you for this piece of top marketing to get it more simple, clear. And remember, you can use all your long metaphorical flowery language in your videos. But in terms of titles, it's so helpful when it's simple.
I want to give another example because it's so true. We're going to stay out of the concepts and just in that 12-year-old language. Menstrual cycle makeover session. Yesenia has that one. And Jade has pelvic pain breakthrough session. And what I love about that is it's super clear. I know exactly what I'm going to get when I hop on the call. So those are really great examples.
I love that. All right. Who has questions or comments about anything we've covered so far this morning? Enrollment, this first session 1 of the VIP day, remember, it's about becoming really more comfortable and aware of what it takes to enroll clients, especially online. When you come back from the break in a few minutes, we're going to be diving into really helping you build out your marketable program. And for those of you that would like some more niche support, we're going to get you a chance to get more niche clarity support as well today. But Julia, I saw your hand pop up right away. How can we support you? And by the way, you guys, when we coach you to ask questions in a big group like this, when we just have a little bit of time together, we're going to recommend you guys start with my question is. You can always remind everybody who you are as well. You can say, hey, I'm Julia. My question is, so that way we can all really track with you and we can all learn. Hi, Julia.
Hi, guys. My question is, I have more of a generic call, I believe. I just actually shifted it a tiny bit. I normally just call it connection over coffee. And what I give is a high vibe cup of joe for the connection. It's like my gift back to them because I'm really teaching people how to, really conquer disease with food. So the question is that clear enough? What I'm calling it now is high vibe connection.
So the concern I have about that is that if you call it a high vibe connection, you may not be doing a very good job pre-qualifying clients. And I'm concerned that you may get on the phone with a bunch of people that just want to connect because you are high vibe. And trust me when I say, if I met you at a virtual networking event, I'd be like, I want to hop on the phone with, I want to hop on the phone with Julia, but I might not be that serious at all about getting support from you or hiring you. So if you were to do something like a wellness breakthrough session or a food breakthrough session, I would be much more qualified to be like, I actually want to know what Julia has to say about my health or my wellness or my food or my nutrition.
Okay. So more from a place, if we haven't had any pre-conversation, they just see it and know more specifically what it's going to be around.
Yeah. And remember, anytime you're introducing this, you are going to want to give a little description. It's not necessarily enough to just hop onto Facebook and be like, hey, don't forget to take me up on my wellness breakthrough session, because everyone would be like, great, who are you, right? But if you
Yes.
make a little video like we've been training you guys to make in the last couple of weeks, where you give some kind of a quick tip, you let people know that you've discovered a solution to some of the most common struggles. And by the way, I'd love to offer to hop on the phone with you and get you an individualized breakthrough and see if it's a fit to do more work together. Then you've really positioned yourself.
Okay. Yeah. I feel like probably getting more clear on my niche, because I'm offering a lot of different things. That's where the high vibe kind of comes into play, but it's not really getting specific on how I want to support them, because it's not just with food.
And I think high vibe could be in your brand. I think you could have, like, say, just for example, you could have a Facebook group called like High Vibe Wellness or something like that, or High Vibe Health, right? Like
Right.
the high vibe health sisterhood or something like that. Like, I could totally see women wanting to join that, right?
Yeah.
But in terms of when I am going to really sit down with you and see if it might be a fit to work together, I'd love to see it be a little more specific.
Yes, I agree. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Kiss for Julia. All right, Megan, who do we have next?
We have Kimberly White. Your hand is up. What's your question, Kimberly? Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi.
Hello.
I just feel like my question is, leadership breakthrough feels too generic for who I target my work towards. Then I feel like it gets too long.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm stuck. It's like, and maybe it doesn't even matter. I just don't want to get on with a bunch of people who are like, oh, I'm in corporate. I mean, that's who my client is, right? I'm in corporate business. I'm not in the solopreneur business world. So I'm sort of looking to how do I
love Leadership Breakthrough Session. I think it totally works. We have women that have built 6-figure businesses with Leadership Breakthrough Session.
Okay.
And remember that whenever you offer this, you're going to get a chance to kind of speak into who you're talking to, right? So for those of you that are climbing the corporate ladder, for those of you who are wanting to have better boundaries at work, for those of you that are trying to find a work-life balance between being a high level, professional go-getter woman and, however you're positioning it, you're going to get a chance to do that both on video and any kind of description that you give.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that was probably helpful for everybody. So you guys, the name of your session doesn't necessarily have to pass the face test, but what you're going to want to think about doing is adding some kind of a little attention getting phrase if your session doesn't pass the face test. So Kimberly might say, attention professional go-getter women, claim your leadership breakthrough session here, right? And Megan can attest, gosh, Kathleen Caldwell, I think, uses leadership breakthrough session, and she just had a almost 6-figure launch. So it's totally working for her.
Yeah, and I think the main thing, just to highlight for everyone, is you don't have to tell people everything about who you serve and how you serve them in the breakthrough session title. You're talking about that in your Facebook Live, for instance, or your masterclass, and then you're just saying, hey, go ahead and book a leadership breakthrough session so that we can get you a mini plan to whatever it is. So you can say the "so that" after the breakthrough session and to give that little description.
Hold on, we need to clean up the line just a little bit. All right, here we go. There's a little bit of feedback. Sorry about that, Megan. You guys make sure to keep yourself muted out when you're, in the background, making bodily noises or whatever you might be doing. All right, beautiful women. I actually made a mistake, and I want to apologize to all you guys. We turned on chat today so that you guys would have a way to connect with each other. And as you're also noticing, we're also connecting on Facebook. Have you guys noticed that? So when we do that, what we usually do is we do a better job of letting you know what's the best thing to post in which place. So let me set that context for you right now. Let me rewind and do the thing. And just so you guys know, we're your coaches, but always do what we say, not what we do. No, just kidding. So let me clean up my mistake and go back for you guys. The reason why we're doing this piece around having you post things in your Facebook group for instance, we do recommend you actually post your face test passing discovery session here, because we can give you feedback there. Your coach can give you feedback. You guys can give each other feedback, right? As soon as, hold on, you guys, as soon as we hang up this Zoom line, that chat goes away, unless you download it, but it's not a living place to keep communicating. Does that make sense? Right? The chat is only really alive while we're on the call. We would like you to do a few official things during the day over on the Facebook group. So when we do ask you to do things over on the Facebook group, we're going to ask you to do them there and not in the chat, just so that it's not confusing. Second of all, what we like to have happen on the chat is we like for you guys to share your aha moments on the chat. Share what you're learning. Share your aha moments. Share what you're taking away. Connect with each other a little bit conversationally. But what we've also noticed is the chat can be distracting, and we're throwing down a lot of good comments today. We're throwing down a lot of good content. So we're going to recommend that you use the chat for your aha moments. Of course, Sylvia is over there to support you a little bit if you have some logistical questions. And we do recommend you get in the habit of going over to Facebook, because that's one of the things that you're going to want to do when you're doing your own webinars, Facebook videos, Facebook video challenges. Anytime you can have people do this and you get more comfortable with being like, okay, I'm going to share the screen. I'm going to invite you to go into Facebook. I'm going to invite you to find this pink sticker. I'm going to invite you to comment under it. Guess what happens? When people do that with you, you're actually creating an experience with them. Are you picking up what I'm laying down? Now they are in conversation with you. They've followed your leadership. Can you feel that this is about leadership? And so this is something we invite you guys to practice with your buddies. You know, hop on a Zoom line with another student in ELA or Leverage and practice doing that, because that core skill is literally one of the things that takes you from content into conversation. And the more intimacy you have with your potential clients, the more they're likely to hire you. And what happens is, as soon as they do this, you know, as soon as they go over here and respond to you, now you have a place to reply to them. And you can say, hey, I love that. What other questions do you have? What other ideas do you have? And now you're conversating with them, and you can even send them a message through Facebook, because now you know their Facebook name. But oftentimes people hop on Zoom with a name that's totally different than their Facebook name, so that you have no way of following up. So if you're on the line with a handful of potential clients, it can be really helpful to actually interact in your Facebook group. The other thing that you guys can do if you want is you can turn off the chat completely. And that way you don't have to deal with it, right? If you don't have an assistant available, if you're not, you don't want to be teaching and answering questions at the same time, you guys can just turn off the Zoom chat for those of you that are starting to play around with thinking about doing this yourselves. All right, what other questions do we have, Megan?
Yeah, so we're going to hop into questions. And this is actually, I just would encourage you to go ahead and write down the questions that are popping up for you rather than writing them in the chat, because as we're teaching, we're not answering your questions over on the chat at that same time. So when it's content related, go ahead and write it down. And then when we ask for Q&A time, that's the time to ask those questions. So Alice, Conan. Yes. Hi, Alice.
Hi, Alice Koenen.
Alice.
A little bit difficult, but my question is about the title of the discovery session. I was thinking about reconnection breakthrough session, or the green connection. Green connection, green reconnection. You can have in the green, you can have also the re's. You can play with the capitals and small letters, or a playful breakthrough session, because I'm working on green environments, playful environments around schools for kids, workshops, small events, awareness.
Yeah, so it could definitely be like a playground. From what I've heard from you before, it sounds like it's kind of like a playground environment. Is that true? Like a playground for kids?
It's not the only thing I want to do, but it's a piece of the awareness part I want to to give. Yes.
Yeah, it could be a playground breakthrough session or like go green breakthrough session. So making it a little more specific, and I hear what you're saying with wordplay and making some letters bigger and smaller, those things won't translate well to speaking it out. So you want to make sure you're just choosing something that whether you're saying it or it's written, it's going to make just as much sense to people and they're not guessing at a metaphor or anything like that. It's just super straightforward. Save the fancy things for images or, things in other areas of your marketing.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree 100%. I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you
Kiss.
for your question. Mwah.
Love
How about
it.
Ashley Moon? What's your question? Good
Good
to see you
morning.
here.
My question is, can we include more than one type of appointment or breakthrough session they can schedule if we've been in business for a while and we have more than one program without confusing them? So right now I have two. One is a productivity breakthrough and one is more of like soul session breakthrough with tarot and Akashic. I don't want to confuse them. And I know we need to make a recommendation, but I do have two businesses that I often merge, but it also sometimes helps to keep them separate. So I'm looking for guidance on, I use Acuity and I have both listed there right now. And I'm just wondering if you can give feedback on if
since I had a chance to coach you last week on this, Ashley, I'd love to jump in and just say, first of all, I would say you can offer both, but not at the same time.
Okay.
And here's why, and I'm sure Megan would have given you the same feedback. A confused mind really does say no. And so you're going to want to just ask yourself on the front end of that video training or social media post, are you leading with productivity or an organization, or are you leading with soul breakthrough? And if it's a video about soul breakthrough, you offer the soul breakthrough session. And if it's a video more about organization and productivity, then you can offer that productivity breakthrough session or whatever you're calling them. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
That's going to create a much more smooth client experience, because it's just too common for people to get into the back end of your website and they don't know where to click. Raise your hand if you've ever been on somebody's website and you're like, I don't even know what to do in here. Right? It happens all the time. That's why the websites that are converting the most, you guys pay attention to this. Like, these websites are the websites that convert the highest. This is all it is. Click here to schedule your free session. Notice there's nowhere else for people to click. There's no place for them to click on About Me. There's no place for them to click on, oh, here's my other programs. I'm going to recommend you guys don't do it. Just the honest truth is, I've been studying how people build these businesses for 10 years, and we have women get to 6 figures faster with simple opt-in pages and no fancy brochure websites with long details of your bio and your everything, right? Now, can you put testimonials on this website? Absolutely, right? If people scroll down, it would be great to have a few testimonials on here, but there's only one place to click. And remember, especially those of you that are just starting out, raise your hand if you now know it's time for you to at least start with getting your online scheduler, right? That's going to probably be the action step for a lot of you guys that are just starting out. For those of you that are in leverage, to get a page up, to really help people find those discovery sessions. So we're going to take a break in just a few minutes, but first of all, let's practice using the chat thread and let us know what's the biggest thing that you are taking away out of this first session, this first of 3 sessions. The day is split into 3 sessions. What's the biggest thing you're taking away from this first session? And we're about to take a break that's going to be about 20 or 25 minutes. And many of you are saying that you're committed to doing a better job at pre-qualifying. I saw Nicole say, I don't need a brochure website. For many of you, that might be a relief. Claudia's saying she gets to just keep it simple. It's all about keeping it simple. I love that. Yes, yes, yes. Many of you now are walking away with a hot title for your discovery session. I love that. All right, so we have an inquiry for you. Let's take a nice deep breath, arms overhead. We're gonna be committed to taking care of you all day long. In a moment, Shannon, I'm gonna have you pop up the break inquiry in the Facebook group. But over the break, we're gonna invite you to move from a place of strategy and now into a place of anything that might be kind of weighing on you or in the way, especially when it comes to enrollment. So I'll have Shannon say a little bit more about this, but the question really is, what gets in the way? What comes up for you when you think about enrolling your next 3 clients? For those of you in leverage, maybe your next 10 clients. For Tracy Holland, maybe your next 100 clients, right? It's like, what gets in the way of you going to that next level of enrollment? What fears come up? And Shannon, will you show them where to post that so that we can keep that thread going over the break so that it won't go away? It'll be in your Facebook groups.
Yeah, let me get it up here. There's so many comments. And here we go. You can go over and look for this purple one, post the biggest fear you have to enrolling clients, and then love your sisters up. So keep it super simple, one fear, bullet it down, because when you can get really clear about that one fear is, guess what? The breakthrough is right on the other side.
So whether it has to do with, I know for me, it had to do with responsibility. I remember waking up one day and being like, oh my gosh, I have one foot on the gas and one foot on the brake because I'm afraid to have to take care of 10 or 20 or 100 people. Who here can relate to that, right? One of my star clients who now has a 7-figure business, I'm going to maintain confidentiality with who she is, but her biggest fear was simply letting people down. She just was so afraid of not following through or not being what they thought she should be when they hired her. So just think about what's kind of the biggest one, and obviously we all have all kinds of fears, but if you were to tackle one today or kind of look at melting one, take some breaths over the break and kind of drop in and ask yourself, what is that fear that I'd love to bring to the surface to do some awareness work around. We're going to be back at the top of the hour. That's 1 p.m. Pacific. That's 4 p.m. Eastern. And during this next session, you're going to get a chance to work on getting clearer around your message and starting to package your programs. Anything to add, Megan or Shannon, before we head to break?
Just head over to that purple Facebook post that Shannon showed you to claim that fear. Because what I've found is once you just get it out there and you realize it's not so unique or you're not the only one with that fear, and it's not just something you're carrying around inside of you, you get to be free from it and move forward from it. So we'll be back with you.
And Shannon and Megan, can we just actually leave this Zoom line open and just invite people to turn off their cameras, and we'll be back at the top of the hour?
We are actually just going to shut it down so that Jen can make a quick change to this and then
I was thinking we might need to change the dashboard. So you guys, we are going to change. And by the way, you guys, when you come back, you're going to be able to get in with Sisterhood. Okay, the password is Sisterhood to get back in at the top of the hour, and we'll be waiting for you. Big Wahoo on your way out. We'll be back in 25 minutes, 1 p.m. Pacific.
I want to say one more thing, that when we come back, you are going to have in your Facebook group the link to get in. So if you need to just find the link real quick, go to your Facebook group. We'll have it pinned there for you.
Perfect. Thanks, everybody. Awesome morning. Unmute yourselves and say goodbye. Ow, ow, ow.
All right. It's 5. Okay, Dawn. Bye.
Bye.